Hello, hello, hello. It is Therapist Thursday, our last one for Mental Health Awareness Month. That happened so fast. You guys come on in the room. We can't wait to chat with you guys today. Super excited about our question for today. Again, welcome to Therapist Thursday. I'm Kiera Johnson. So I'm your host for the show. And so this is our space where we get to talk about mental health topics and the questions that you ask in the chat, or when you send those to me via our website. And so I'm a mental health professional here in the Mobile area, serving Alabama. And so you have the opportunity to send me your mental health questions, and I get to answer them for you guys every single Thursday at 3 p.m. Okay? And so just because Mental Health Awareness Month is swiftly, passing us by, we do this every Thursday. And so we'll continue to have this time together on Thursdays. Okay? And so today, question. Again, if you're in the room, drop something in the chat. Let me know that you're there. So we'll know, who's participating with us today. But today we have another question. And so our question today is, how do I choose the right therapist? Amazing question. I thought this was a good one to discuss with, our fam over here on this side. And so again, I'm a mental health counselor. I'm an advocate for therapy, counseling. If you need it, you should go. Therapy is definitely a safe space where you get to, discuss your dealings of life with a trusted, confidential individual. And there is a process in which you should, kind of vet, so to speak, the therapist that you'll be, working with, to, get you the results that you need, or, excel in your treatment goals, right? And so, first thing I want you guys to do when we're thinking about how do I choose a therapist, I need you to just take a minute and kind of jot down, what is it am I needing, or what is it that I want out of this therapy experience, right? So what is the why, right? Why am I seeking out a therapist? Why am I seeking out counseling, right? Am I just doing this because it's a trend? It's trendy, it's on trend to have a counselor. It's like a little fad now, like, yeah, I go to therapy. Like, is that my reason? Or I'm really having some challenges in my life and I want to address these areas so I can be a better person, right? Or I just experienced a traumatic event and so I need someone to kind of get this off me and kind of come up with a game plan of how we're gonna deal with said situation. Or is it some things in my past or some behaviors that I'm exhibiting that people are even telling me, or I'm becoming want to explore some more. Counseling's a great place for that, right? It's a list of what are my needs and why am I seeking out therapy or counseling during this time. Okay. Then we need to think about again, of course, why you want to go to therapy, and then finding a therapist who specializes in the areas in which you want to work on, right? And so that's why it's good to start off with our list, right? So if we start off with our list, okay, we've identified why we're going, and so now when we're seeking out or researching different therapists in our area, we can go with those. We can look at their expertise and see if what I need or want out of therapy aligns with what they specialize in, right? So if it's trauma, I'm looking for a therapist who works with trauma. If I'm looking for counseling in regards to like relationship or family systems, I'm looking for someone who works with that. Um, if I am looking for someone to process um, some type of loss or grief with, People specialize in that. That's what I should be looking for. Or am I having, women issues? Am I having problems with stress management? Am I looking for someone who, has experience with working with people who are challenged with cancer? It's a whole gamut of, topics of, specialized areas that therapists work with. And so those are the things that you're looking for, right? So yeah, so you want to be looking for those. And then when we think about picking a therapist, asking around, right? Asking your peer group, asking your friends, asking your family, like, hey, I'm thinking about going to counseling, and I heard that you just started counseling. Who do you see, right? Or have you heard about this particular person? Or what has been your experience with said person? I think that'd be a great way, and that's how a lot of it happens. If we're just gonna be honest, a lot of people find their therapist, through word of mouth, and so ask around, see, what the people are saying. Of course, if you're in a school setting, of course you can always go to your school counselor. That's a good place to start. Or if you're in college, most, if not all, college campuses have a counseling center, so definitely reach out to them because it's usually also free, usually. So definitely look into that. If you are employed, look into your EAP program. So that would be your employee assistance programs. Usually services that are provided by employers you work for. So that's definitely something you want to look into. You want to ask your medical provider if they have a referral list of mental health professionals that they would recommend to you. That would be a good option. And it'll also be a great option, especially if you are experiencing some of your challenges due to, physical ailments. They'll definitely be able to, provide you with a good list of those people who will benefit you and the concerns that you're having. So I think that's a good referral sources there. And then you also want to think about, cost, right? And so how much are the sessions, based on what your budget is or what your insurance allows for them to pay. You want to think about location. Is this somewhere that I can, easily get to based on my work schedule or the kids' schedule and all of that? Am I going to be able to make it to your office? Of course, timing. How long do the sessions last? Usually, sessions last 50 minutes to 60 minutes or an hour. That's something you want to look at. The meeting space, the space is very important. And a lot of people, if you find their website or their referral source or directory, they'll usually show you the space. I think the space is very important. Make sure that it's inviting and welcoming, right? Whether or not you're looking for in-person sessions, are you looking for over the phone sessions, are you looking for teletherapy or virtual sessions? So, via video. So that's something you need to think about. You need to think about is cultural background important to you? And so a lot of the people that I work with, of course, they want to work with me because I am African American. They want that perspective in their counselor. And so that's something you need to consider. If that's something that's important to you, then of course that's going to narrow down your search and the therapists or counselors that you're looking to possibly work with for your therapy or counseling experience. So definitely want to make sure that if that's not important to you, because you still want to make sure that you're dealing with a culturally competent person. So sometimes you may not be able to, find someone of your, cultural background, but it doesn't mean that there aren't other capable and culturally competent professionals that are out there that can be helpful. Like in my experience, I've never seen a professional of color, but my counseling experience has been amazing. And so it's not that you can't have a rich and helpful experience if they're not, of the same cultural background as you. But that could be very important, to some people because some people haven't had, that kind of experience with people that are not, of their cultural background. So that's definitely something you want to consider when picking a therapist. And then you also want to think about Again, you want to look at their specialty and their expertise, because you can have some people that are very good in certain areas that you may be concerned with, but they may not be that great in other areas. For instance, I may go to a professional who we may not have the same cultural background, but they're excellent in working with relationships, or they're great with working with trauma. And so you guys have done great work in that area. But then you may go to a therapist of your cultural background to talk about family dynamics, right? There may be an area that you may feel they may be more relatable in those areas, right? And so, everybody has their area, right? Everybody has their lane. And so sometimes, you may seek out multiple people for different things. And that's okay. Because I think sometimes we think once we go to a therapist, they're the all be all, it's a one stop shop. And if they can address all the areas, then therapy is not helpful. Like, no, they may be good for this area, and so we don't want to discount them for their area. You guys can work on those things together, and then, just reach out to another source in those other areas that you still need assistance with. Okay? First and foremost, and I probably should have said this in the beginning, but you want to make sure that your therapist or your counselor is properly credentialed. Okay? Properly credentialed. They have gone to school, they have a bachelor's, they have a master's degree. Some of them might even have their doctorate. They have the proper licensing. And so you may go to a licensed social worker that can provide therapy. You may go to a licensed marriage and therapy, licensed, family and marriage therapist. You may go to a licensed professional counselor. You may go to an associate's licensed counselor like myself, who's in the process of being fully licensed. But you need to make sure that these individuals are properly licensed, right? And again, these are professionals that are providing counseling and therapy, right? When you think about coaching, that's different. That does not require a license to, practice or whatever. But we're talking about counseling and therapy. These people should be credentialed and should be licensed, right? And that's going to be displayed on their in their offices. It's going to be mentioned, with the letters behind their name. You definitely want to see that. Okay, please make sure that they are credentialed. Okay. And then another great way to figure out whether or not a counselor is a good fit or not, you want to take up the offer on the consultation calls. Now, everybody doesn't do consultation calls because a lot of our directories, it kind of gives a great detail of what we do. But sometimes you just want to hear the person's, voice over the phone and get a feel over the phone. And so definitely take advantage of those consultation calls. And again, you can ask all these questions like, what do you specialize in? What's your pricing? Where you're located? Are you credentialed? Do you have experience working with said areas? You can kind of discuss all these things over the phone. And then also just kind of get a feel, for the counselor over the phone. So definitely do your consultation calls if that's available for you. And then even once you get to your first session, right? So just say you discovered what your needs are. You went through the directories, you asked around, you've done your research, you've done a consultation call, you thought it was a good fit, and you get into the room and you have your intake session, so your first session, and then you realize like, okay, well, maybe this isn't the right fit. That is okay, right? Again, just because you did an intake session with a counselor doesn't mean you're locked in with them. You always have an option. Okay, I always tell people this. Hey, counseling, when it comes to counseling and therapy, you always have an option, right? You're not married to us. We're not holding you hostage. If you feel like that's the case when you're, working with a counselor, maybe we need to, reconsider that relationship. But you're not married to us. You're not obligated to us. You always have an option if you're not getting the service or the help that you need, right? Now, we're not talking about, you're going to therapy and you're not giving us any information, or you're not working on the things that we said we're working on, and now you deeming that it's not helpful, or your counselor is helping you identify some of these blind spots and you're just feeling uncomfortable. Those are two separate things. But if you're in the room with the person and you guys don't mesh well, you're not able to build a rapport with that person, you just don't connect, it's okay to stop at that moment, even at the first session, and kind of pivot and go back to exploring your options. That is okay, right? And as a counselor, we know that we're not everybody's cup of tea. We don't mesh well with everybody, and that's okay. And we'll even help you and assist you with seeking out some other referrals, so you can kind of find the best fit for you, right? That's our job. Our job is to make sure you get what you need and we get you to your next step, or that, next professional. And so we'll give you a referral list, people that you can kind of reach out to, so you can start, that therapeutic relationship. And so, yes, you always have an option. You always have an option, okay? Don't let anybody tell you different. You got an option, okay? And of course, once you find the right fit, of course, you guys will be working together to define your treatment goals and then what to expect out of therapy, right? And as I was just speaking to, therapy takes your cooperation and your investment, right? When you're seeking out a therapist and when you start working with a therapist, it's not on us to produce the change in you, right? We are here to assist, we're here to facilitate, we're here to partner with you to, reach the goals that you are, trying to make, or trying to, pursue. But we're not the all be all. You don't come into counseling and we wave the magic wand and you're automatically fixed. That's not how this works, right? It's a partnership, right? We're a team, right? We're a team working together to get you to where you want to go. And so know that counseling does take your cooperation and your investment, right? I always say what you put in is what you get out, right? That's going to take a level of honesty, transparency, vulnerability, right? And these may be very well some of those things that you're coming to counseling for. Like, you don't know how to be transparent, or it's uncomfortable to have these tough conversations. But once you come to therapy, it is a safe space, a confidential space, right? What happens in here stays in here. Of course, unless you're at risk of harming yourself or someone else. It's a safe space for you to kind of work through some of those challenges and some of that, those tougher topics, so you can get better, or, gain those skills that you need to, progress personally. And so that's what I have for you guys. And so again, just to kind of reiterate, when about choosing a therapist, when thinking to make a list of what you need and what you want, right? What is your reason for therapy? Find a therapist who's ask around, okay? Ask your, community, are they in therapy and who do they see? And have they had a great experience, right? You want to do that. School counselor, or if you're at a college, go to your, counseling center on campus. If you are employed, reach out to your EAP program to see if they, have services for you, okay? Ask your medical provider if they have a referral list of therapists that you can kind of reach out to. Think about the cost, location, and what modality are you looking for? Are you looking for, in person, virtual, over the phone? What you looking for, right? Are you looking for someone of your same ethnic background? That's something that's very important. Making sure they have the proper credentialing, right? And even in that first session, knowing that you can pivot if it's not a right fit. Okay? So that's all I got for y'all today. Today was a quick one, a cute one, but I think it's very important. As we know that, the topic of mental health is more prevalent now. And we want to make sure that you're doing this, one, because you need it, and not because you just feel like, oh, it's just a cool thing to do. Like, this is really an investment for you to be your best self, right? And so, hey, if you need it, utilize it, right? If you know someone else that needs it, share the information with them. So, of course, like and share this information. Follow us on all the socials. Definitely follow us on YouTube, where we post all of our videos and everything is in one place. And so if you know someone who is thinking about counseling or thinking about therapy, but they're kind of on the edge, send them our information so they can kind of check out our videos, learn some more information about it as they're trying to, figure out if this is something that they need to do during this time. And so we can help each other out. That's what this is for. This is about community and helping our people out. So definitely share this with someone. Of course, I enjoy our time every single week. And again, mental health awareness is coming to an end, but that's okay because we still have the same mission, right? And so we're still going to be talking about mental health and its importance throughout the year. And so meet me here next Thursday, and we're still going to be talking about mental health and, assisting you guys with the questions that you have. Again, if you haven't already, go to our website, thekiarajbrand.com, click on that bottom right corner, submit your questions, and so we'll be answering your questions over the next several weeks. And so we can get you guys some answers and the resources that you need. All righty.